are God. They don't believe in something like
330 million God for them.
Okay, so then tell me the ones that I don't know then. Is that only know a couple?
Come on, you don't know. They believe in one God. Just go on Google.
let's go back to the definition. Listen, let's go back to the definition. So, you see, in order for you to understand any object, any entity, it has to have its definition in order to represent it correctly.
Yes.
Okay? So, in Islam, we believe that God is the one who creates. He's the creator. He's not created himself. So, your question, where did he come from or who created him?
It doesn't apply. Right?
Absolutely. Because by definition, God is not someone who's created. He creates, he's not created.
Here's my question.
He's the uncreated.
Why could the universe not be eternal?
Because the universe doesn't have consciousness, does it? Does it have consciousness?
Hold on.
Yes. So if I have a block of wood here, which is part of the universe,
can you logically demonstrate
and if I was going to smash it with a hammer, will it move away by itself? In order not
Does a plant have consciousness?
What's that?
Does a plant have consciousness?
A plant?
Does it feel?
We're talking about the universe, not just a plant.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Hold on. I said uncreated.
Uncreated.
A plant is not uncreated.
Can you logically demonstrate? Because you've said logic.
Yeah.
Can you logically demonstrate why the creation of the universe must have a consciousness behind it?
Because wait. Yeah, that's a good book.
I'm good.
Are you an open-minded person?
I've already read the Quran. I don't think
That's not the Quran.
It's the Mandarin.
Oh, you have read the Quran?
Yes.
Which part of the Quran you remember?
Not a lot of it, to be honest.
Because you haven't read it correctly,
No, I was 13. It was a long time ago. That's all I need.
You were 13, you read the Quran?
I did.
And you don't remember anything at all?
No, I remember bits and pieces.
Like what?
There is an awful lot.
Give me anything that you remember.
Oh, God. No, I actually can't remember off the top of my head.
How about we give you one more Quran so you can refresh your memory?
No, I've already had like 3. I lose them all the time.
You lose what?
I lose them.
You lose a Quran?
Yeah.
How is that?
Oh, you put it down. It's
Have you lost any other books?
I've lost the Bible. I've also lost the Vita.
So have you lost anything other than the holy books?
Oh yeah, I lose books all the time, donate to charity, so on and so forth.
What's your name, bro?
Steve.
Alright, and what was your question earlier? Demonstrate to you logically.
Yeah, demonstrate to me logically why the creation of the universe must have a conscious entity behind it.
In order to have something like, for example, if I asked you
questions that are not answerable.
No.
You're asking in a way like.
That seems like a cop-out, but
no, it's not. If you look at the universe, do you see? I can't ask that.
Just let him ask you, man.
Okay.
Carry on.
If you see the universe, yes, you see everything out there from the minutest of the atoms to the planets, the solar system. It has some sort of a purpose and an order.
demonstrate that logically.
Like what? What will satisfy you that the solar system has order?
Demonstrate purpose and order in the universe.
Okay, so do you think the sun has a purpose?
No, it just is.
What do you mean it doesn't have a purpose?
The sun doesn't have a purpose.
Sorry, no, you're ascribing anthropomorphism.
I think you're just here to answer. Doesn't matter what it is.
Hey, bring it down.
You bring it down. Does the sun have a purpose? Once again,
no,
the sun has no purpose.
No, you're giving it anthropomorphic characters.
How?
I understand what he's saying.
How am I giving it anthropomorphic character?
Why would the
If
sun
I
have
asked
a
you,
purpose?
are you saying?
Do you think you have a purpose?
Wait. Are you saying the sun doesn't have a purpose? According to even science, it has a purpose.
No, it doesn't. No, it has a function.
Okay, the moon doesn't have a purpose.
I understand what you mean.
So now you're using semantics.
No.
You're using semantics.
What is the purpose of the sun?
What is the purpose of the sun?
What is the purpose of the sun?
So what is the purpose? Are you saying
that's not purpose.
Wait. Would you live if the sun wasn't there?
That's not purpose.
It is.
No, it's not.
To keep you alive.
No, but you
One of the purposes.
Yeah.
That is so conceited.
How is it conceited?
You think the universe exists for you?
The universe does exist for us, yes. No?
So, see, I think that...
Would you exist without the sun? Answer the question.
No.
There you go. So that's the purpose to keep you alive. One of the purposes of the sun is to make sure that the vegetation on this planet grows and the photosynthesis happen because of the sun. Now this was the function or the purpose, if you want to call it, the function, if you want to call it that is the function of the sun. Now if you're going to tell me it has no function and no purpose, then you absolutely have no idea what the sun is even.
No. It has no purpose.
And you're telling I'm the one being confused.
It's your own conceit. You think the universe is created for you, for people. That's conceit in the highest order. Okay. The universe is infinite almost.
Yeah.
Infinite?
No, it's not.
Wait, do you know what infinite means?
Yes.
Why? It has no ending.
Not ending.
No ending. Oh, so you think the universe doesn't have a border?
No, I said infinite almost.
Almost. Oh, so you're not sure? You're not sure?
No, I said it's infinite almost.
No, infinite almost means you're not sure.
No, it doesn't mean I'm not sure.
Means you're not sure. Just say it.
No,
Don't be cocky. Just say it. You don't.
No, it doesn't mean I'm not sure.
Look,
I said it's almost
a person
infinite.
says
very large.
A person says almost.
small.
Wait, a person says almost or maybe only if they are not sure.
I am sure it is not infinite.
You're sure it is?
To the best of my knowledge.
But that's what I said.
That's wrong.
That's what I said. He's agreeing with me now. It's not
almost
infinite.
infinity.
Thank you very much. You know that. Oh my God. You don't even know what.
There is infinity or not infinity.
So once again,
please don't.
look.
My friend.
No. Come on.
One thing is certain, that you have not come from nothing. And neither have I, and neither has this universe.
No, that's not for certain.
Okay, maybe Muhammad Hijab might be able to answer this question. This gentleman here says, God doesn't exist, and why do we need God? Or what is the purpose of this? He's saying that the sun doesn't have a purpose, he's saying.
No, the sun does not have a purpose.
Do you believe that?
Get on with it. Get on with
This
it.
gentleman thinks the sun has a purpose to give us life.
To keep you alive. I didn't say to keep you alive. To keep you alive.
The sun is a star like any other. It exists. Whether we were here or not, it would exist. So the sun does not have a purpose. He's ascribing an anthropomorphic character to it because he needs to feel like he's essential to the universe.
Nice, interesting discussion there. What's your name?
Steve,
How
what's
you doing,
yours?
Mohammed? Nice to meet you. Did you come here for Tommy? Did you come here with him now?
I came here for free speech.
Okay, nice one. Let's have a little. Sorry, I apologize. What at the heart of this discussion is what's referred to as teleology. It's not anthropomorphism, because what you've said here is anthropomorphic qualities, right? Because if you look at the word anthropomorphism in the dictionary, it has three meanings. It actually has three meanings. If you look into the dictionary, open it up. Anthropomorphism is ascribing human characteristics to God. One, that's the definition. Or ascribing inanimate characteristics to something which is animate. So for example, I say a stone face, right? So that's anthropomorphism. What you meant to say was personification. Because personification is when you give inanimate objects animate characteristics. Yeah, no problem. But even then, we have to have a discussion on teleology, because that's what it is. What he was trying to say is that from a first-person subjective experience, it would seem that things are functional and purposeful. Now, purpose is itself a subjective thing. My purpose, my idea of purpose could be different from your idea of purpose. A better word to use in the context of a materialistic environment, I will put to you, is functionality.
I said it has function.
Yeah, okay, so I agree. So I would say, look, the sun has a function. I would agree with Hashim that has purpose from my first-person subjective experience.
But that wasn't the point he was making. He was saying it has a purpose, objective and outside. The sun is here for a reason, which it is not.
He's got his own. He has an epistemology, by which and through which he's come to that conclusion. But before we're going into this teleological argument, I think we have to think a little bit more abstract. If I were to ask you the question, though, because this is a subjective question, you can decide not to answer. You can say that, there's no such thing as purpose. You can take a postmodern view on it. You can take a Nietzschean understanding on it. And that's fine.
I respect that you've read philosophy.
Thank you. But if I say to you, look, what is your purpose in life? I'm being second person now. I'm being personal to you. What is your purpose in life?
That's totally beside the first point we were making there. So I don't think it's relevant to the argument of a universe having purpose, because that is you ascribing purpose to it, as opposed to it having a
no problem. I wouldn't make an argument from purpose.
Okay.
I would say to you, look, how did the universe, in your opinion, come to existence?
I don't know.
What do you reckon the inference to the best explanations?
I would say not God.
Okay, so what do you think it is?
I don't know. For me, God is a fallacious concept because you start by defining God as outside with no internal logic beyond saying it's outside, so you can have it as a first cause.
I'm just making sure everything's all right.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh my God.
His turn. They call his.
Carry on.
In order to define the universe as starting with God as a first cause, you have to decide God is simply outside of us.
I haven't mentioned it.
No, you haven't, but this is the argument made over there, which is why I say I don't know.
Right.
And scientists probably have to say we have a theory, but we don't know. I don't see any reason to ascribe it to a universal deity that is outside of any understanding we have, simply because it is outside the understanding. To me, that is as much a cop-out as saying the universe is infinite.
And you're right, if the argument was made like that, it would sound a little bit problematic. But that's not the way I'd make the argument. So I'm just asking here, the question I put forward was, what is the inference to the best explanation to the existence of the universe? What is your how do you know anything? How do we know things?
That's a big question, isn't it?
Yeah. What's your epistemology?
What's yours, if I could ask first?
In my opinion, I think that you can get to know something either using empiricism, and 5 senses, intuition,
you can cut this short if you want to go.
No, I don't. I just want to see that everyone's behaving themselves today, because I apologise about that. Intuition, empiricism.
Empiricism, subjective, personal experience, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So that's how you get to know things. So with that, I would say, like, for example, laws of rationality and logic are a good way of finding out truth. In my discussions, I always presuppose a truth, the existence of a truth.
Right.
So if someone wants to start from that starting point, it makes a lot of sense to continue the discussion. Now, if you say there's no such thing as truth, and once again go into a moral relativism or something like that, or a complete relativism.
Right. What is your starting stance? What is your presupposition?
My presupposition is that truth exists, and that we are sentient.
How are you defining truth? Because we've defined knowledge, and we haven't defined truth. Are we talking transcendent? Are we talking self-evident? What is truth in this context?
So, truth in this context is something which exists in the real world, okay, which is consistent and has an opposite, as we put by the Aristotelian philosophers. They made like a square of opposition. I'm not sure if you've seen this. Yeah, so it's like you've got, if you look up the square of opposition, you realise that something which is true usually has an antithesis.
Right, so we're talking about logical truth as opposed to
logical truth
in the real world.
No,
in that sense.
I would say that logical truth and truth in the real world are not dichotomous. That it's not a dualism. There is, in fact, a truth in the real world.
So, well, okay, but the only truth that can be demonstrated in that sense is logical. So you can't say the flaw is physical. No, you can't demonstrate truth in that sense.
If we agree that empiricism.
Yeah, but that's different to pure logical truth. Empiricism not necessarily involves subjectiveness, right? So if we're talking about truth and sort of transcending.
No, I presuppose the mind, and I presuppose that my first-person subjective experience is not a deception. Going back to René Descartes and the deception of his meditations, right? So I think my senses are not fooling me. I say that my senses are not fooling me.
And you base that on?
Based on the fact, yeah?
It's all we've got to go on. So
on the Cogito.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that before you
on the Cogito. So,
bollocks.
I was just saying, based on my existence, I think therefore I am. I think that is quite powerful. So based on that, you can say that you can build from that. You know, so I presuppose the mind, I presuppose truth existing in the real world, and metaphysically, like in mathematics, in the realm of logic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I presuppose that we are rational sentient creatures that are able to ascertain the truth. So these are my presuppositions laid out, right? So before we can continue in the incremental process of trying to find the truth, I think that I'm laying my cards bare. If you agree with the same presupposition, then we can proceed.
Apart from where you said that you can find the truth, I'd say you can find a truth. Because I think at that point truth is subjective once you're finding it. Because you're then necessarily putting your own.
I would say there is a truth. I think there is the truth.
You can demonstrate the truth, you can find a truth.
I think you can demonstrate the truth.
I disagree, but we can carry on.
So I would say, like, for example, 2 + 2 = 4 is not a truth, but it's the truth.
Yeah. But what I'm saying was but you're demonstrating that. But you're saying you're finding a truth. I'd say demonstrating.
Well, I would say I'm demonstrating a definite truth here.
Yeah, but that's logic, that's maths.
Right. So would you accept that you can demonstrate a definite truth?
Yeah, from a logical standpoint,
okay,
but not.
So I think
in the material
this
world.
base in epistemology is very important as a starting point, right? So here we've accepted like mathematics and deductionism and inference. Now, for me, inference works in the following way. I see something and I make conclusions based on the evidence I have. In fact, that's the dictionary definition of the word inference. The word inference, if you look in the Oxford Dictionary, is a conclusion based on evidence. So, for me, the inference to the best explanation, which explains the phenomena of the universe, for me, is something which existed prior to the universe and which caused the universe. So I presuppose causation. I believe causation is a truth.
Right.
Some obviously philosophers don't accept this. I say that causation exists, that something caused the universe.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, you know the standard atheist response, which is then what caused the cause.
No, but I know that's the standard atheist response, but we have to accept the main argument. We can answer that question. But if we're saying something caused the universe, then we can start moving on, okay, what is the standard atheist response? But if we agree with that as a starting point,
I don't know that I'd agree.
So what are your points of objection?
My point of objection is that personally, we have the laws of thermodynamics. Something can't come from nothing, right? Which is our best understanding at the current time. That's my best understanding. I'm not a physicist.
Well, it's mathematics as well, even in metaphysics.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to start talking quantum mechanics things, they don't necessarily work intuitively in logic.
Yeah, that's true.
But I would agree that it would seem that something can't come from nothing.
Yeah.
But that we don't know how the universe started. So that's not a universal truth in the transcendent sense, based on our best knowledge at this point. Okay. So when you are saying I have to agree that there is a cause, I don't agree. I think that makes sense.
It makes sense what you're saying, that causation is something which we've figured out. I'm just trying to see where your point is. Tell me if I'm right or wrong with what you're saying. Is what you're saying is what with causation is something which we infer or we empirically discover. Therefore, because that's our current understanding, we have a problem of induction. It could be a case that that causation becomes null and void in the future or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
To an extent.
Fine, no problem. I'll put another C there because causation and contingency. The thing is, it's not just causation. The universe is, I would argue, not just caused, but it's also contingent, meaning dependent. Just like anything within the universe is contingent. That's the point, right? What is it dependent?
Well, no. You've thrown out something out there. Explain that further.
Right. So we have two possibilities. It can either be contingent upon or dependent upon something which is itself dependent, or it can be dependent upon something which is independent.
I'm not seeing the logical connection. You're saying it must be contingent, but you're not demonstrating that. No,
I said it could be.
Right,
It's either contingent upon something which is dependent itself or independent.
Yeah, but so you're not demonstrating why it is contingent.
Well, I would argue that anything within the domain and the cosmos has been proven, both empirically, right, through inference, to be contingent.
So you're going to have to explain that concept further.
Okay, so let me just make it as simple as possible, right? Tell me something which is not dependent upon something. Give me an example of something in the universe which is independent, there's no interdependence.
Dark matter.
Dark matter is dependent upon the universe's existence.
Yeah, but why is the universe then dependent on something else? That's what you're saying. So what you're asking me to do is demonstrate something from inside a system that is contingent upon the system, but you're saying the system itself is contingent on something else, but you are disregarding the fact that you've said the system is one and a half.
Do you reckon that the system itself is independent?
Sorry. Because you're asking me to demonstrate something that isn't contingent from within the system, but you are claiming that the system itself is contingent. So obviously I can't demonstrate that because you're asking me to prove to me that I can't do it unless I agree with your hypothesis.
Sorry, say that all the time.
Right. So if the universe contains everything, that is the one, the set, and then you're asking me to use something from within that set.
My position. Oh, sorry. I like the set.
You're asking me to demonstrate something from within that set that isn't contingent, but we both know that obviously anything from within that set is contingent upon the set. But your claim is that the set itself is contingent on something else, but you're not demonstrating that. You're just asserting.
Yeah, no, I haven't said that. What I've said is, it's either contingent upon. These are your actual choices here.
No, but you're asserting this, but you're not demonstrating it logically. You're saying it is contingent.
No,
but you're not saying why.
What I've said is, remember, what I'm saying is we're doing an inference to the best explanation.
I'm just asking why.
I'm asking you, is this universe dependent or independent? What? On something else. So is it dependent on itself or is it independent? Sorry, is it independent Or is it dependent upon something else?
The universe doesn't actually exist. From a quantum physics point of view, the universe doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a bunch of energy waves moving
to ascribe either those characteristics. I think you're asking to make a choice. It doesn't mean you're not logically demonstrating why either of those need to be true.
Let me ask you a question. Let me try and break this down to the lowest common multiple. Yeah? Do you accept that there is no such thing as randomness? Do you believe in randomness?
Sorry, are we talking about chaos theory in the sense?
Yeah, no, I'm asking you, do you believe in random generations?
Random generations, as in physics?
No, does randomness exist?
Yes.
So can you give me an example of randomness?
So are we talking in a physics sense here? Are we talking in a philosophical sense?
No, in a philosophical sense, in a physics sense, I think
right. So how are you defining random? You say things that happen without cause, without reason?
No, random is something. This is exactly. Let me give you an example. Right, this is a new argument. Let me put a new argument to the table. Yeah? I've done a lot of contingency. I've done a lot of cosmological. Let me do this new argument. Randomness. So if I got a coin.
I've got a question when you're ready.
Okay, I'll say this. I'll bring it up. Yeah? If I bring out a coin, yeah, and I flip the coin, what are the chances it will land on head? So you'll say 50-50, right? What if I told you the chances of it landing on heads is 1 over infinity? What would you say about that?
I'd say you'd have to break that down.
Okay. So listen, why do you think it's 50-50?
Because it has two sides, assuming it's roughly symmetrical on either side.
Because of your experience with coins in the past.
But also the mathematical models.
No, you're right. But what I'm saying is, if you had, for example, if there was a situation whereby you flip a coin, like for example, if you had no experience of coins, yeah, tabula rasa, let's say you come into the world without any experience of anything, like a baby, yeah? If you have a baby, and a baby sees that a coin was flipped, and then it turns into a bird. Like you flip a coin and it turns into a bird, and then you flip it again and it turns into Tommy Robinson, okay? You know, and you flip it again and it turns into Adolf Hitler, no connection. But you know, keep flipping it and different things come up. So you keep flipping the coin and it keeps changing, yeah? Now, that's the true randomness. You know why? Because we're not using, because here there's a presupposition, you know that, which David Hume outlined. The presupposition of science and of our interactions, our transactions, is that previous event or future events will mimic previous events, right? So for instance, the reason why you said that it's 50-50 the coin, because actually your experience with coins is that whenever you flip them, it's either heads or tails, unless it lands on the side or something.
Well, that plus the mathematics.
Yeah. But mathematics applied to the real world, that's how we're talking about. Because maths is not in the real world. Mathematics is a metaphysical construct, according to every philosopher. No one has disagreed with this, Plato onwards. So therefore I say to you, if you flip a coin, and the actual, from a philosophical perspective, bearing in mind that we cannot presuppose that previous events will entail future events, is 1 over infinity, because we don't know, as a matter of absolute truth, that if we flip a coin, that's not going to turn into Tommy Robinson.
Did we not start this argument with the presuppositions that there's infinity stuff? Pardon? We started this argument with various presuppositions that we're moving forward from, which you're now removing.
No, I'm saying, right? I agree, yeah, but I didn't say one of the presuppositions is that past events will entail future events.
No, you did. You said we presuppose that we have rationality, knowledge, and inference.
Yeah,
which then necessarily means that we're using our experience.
But inference...
Kind of moving the goalposts.
No, accept it. I was making an argument, right? But inference could be based on 2 kinds of experience. Inference is based on experience. Inference is based. You cannot have an inference unless you've had some kind of experience in the past.
Right, you can have second-hand knowledge.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Can you see the argument? So what I'm saying is, this entails that there is an order of the universe. Do you know why? Because these patterns, the fact that we can flip a coin now with 50-50, that is a pattern that has been recognized from like X amount of trials with coins. And we've realized that the pattern is, if we flip a coin, it can either be heads or tails. That's hold on, man. Do you see what I'm saying? That's a pattern.
Yeah, but
so that's what science is based on. The fact. Do you know what science is? It's based on the presupposition that that the past Science is kind of like history. It's looking at the patterns and regularities of the universe of the past. And then we're applying that logic to the future. So what I'm saying to you is this: that entails order, and it entails
constants, not order.
Consistency. So that's why randomness cannot exist in the real world. Because if the universe is ordered in that sense, then everything that happens is ordered in that way. These are laws of physics, so to speak.
No. You're saying order, but that's describing again a characteristic that isn't there. With constants, we have things that we observe to become changing. When you say order, you're ascribing sort of metaphysical value to it. You're saying it is a way because, but it's not. It simply is a way.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying, right? Randomness, in my opinion, is when somebody does not understand the pattern and ascribes to it a question mark. Yeah.
Right.
So, for example, you know Laplace. Laplace, he said, yeah, that he used the pool example. This is really interesting. He said,
I'm not familiar.
Okay, so he said the pool example.
Can you tell me what
the pool example? If you hit a ball, and it hits all the other balls, the white ball. If you see a kid, you say, what's going on here? The balls are going all randomly, right? They're random. But he'll say to you, based on the fact, based on the mathematics, everything follows a system based on the mathematics. And just because we don't understand the system, we ascribe randomness to it. The point I'm trying to make in a nutshell is that laws of nature exist in the physical realm, in the domain. These laws of nature allow us to do science in the first instance. These are patterns. And these patterns entail, once again, order. So we have to ask a question. Constant's fine, consistency, order. I believe order can be interchangeable sometimes with these things, right? So what I'm saying is, where did the order come from? If there's no randomness, why is the universe ordered?
Well, that's exactly.
Just back up a bit, more people can hear.
Sorry.
That's exactly why I object to the word order. Because order then has that.
So okay, can we use the word pattern?
No, let's use the word constant. A universal constant doesn't require someone to order it, someone to make it. It simply is the way the universe works.
But you know, even if I say the word order, it doesn't.
Well, no, because you're using that to lead the argument into where does this order come from. Implying it needs a cause, which it doesn't.
I can see, but I'm not using the causation argument here.
No, but you're kind of trying to lead that.
What I'm saying here is...
Let's just use the word constants then.
Okay, fine, you can use the word constants, I haven't got a problem, but I haven't got an issue with the word order either, or pattern.
No, obviously you don't.
Yeah, no, I think this is fine. The word pattern, it literally means a consistent thing that can be analysed from point X to point Z. So, let's say pattern. Why are there patterns in the universe? My question, that's all it is.
There simply are.
No, but why do they exist? Why though? What is the explanation of it?
Why does God exist?
Why does he exist?
So, see, because now if we get back to the very start of the argument...
But we are presupposing the existence of God now.
No, we're not talking. But you're asking why do constants exist? Why do order exist? You are needing to have a cause, right?
No,
you are. You're saying why do they exist? You're saying they need a purpose.
No, I have said nothing about purpose.
You asked why do they exist.
I'm just talking about existentially. Why are they in place? Rather than the opposite. It doesn't exist.
They simply are. That is the universe we're in.
Okay, so this is the point, right?
I'm failing to see your point.
No, the point is, I see that me and you both recognize the reality of patterns in the universe.
Recognize they're universal constants. It's the best as we can observe.
And you call them patterns, and I haven't got a problem calling them constants either, yeah? So I'm just saying, from where can we explain the existence of these patterns? Would you be okay calling them laws? In the vernacular, we call them laws of physics sometimes, right?
Yeah. As long as you're not going to lead this into them requiring something.
I know.
Make a little point about what you
Do you want to come? Yeah, sorry. Apologies.
If you want to jump in, man, I have a train to catch.
Well, you see what I'm saying? Thank you very much for that. It was very enlightening.
I do, kind of.
Yeah?
I mean, I don't agree, but I see where you're going.
Thank you very much, man. Take care. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. You can take it.